my hobby is being a physician, and it's good for your well-being to do something that you really love doing, because it's good for you in your personal life, it's good for you as a physician, and it's good for me as a manager.
Welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. Just sit back, relax, and learn from the leaders of today. It's a journey. Each one is different, unique, inspiring. Let's get started. This episode is powered by J Ventures, a community-driven VC fund in Silicon Valley in partnership with Leumi, sponsored by Homeward Ventures, Hippo Insurance, Upwest Labs, Synergy Global, Hillel at Stanford, Leap, Birthright Excel, Serona Partners, and in media partnership with CTech. Let's talk about the future of medicine. Meet Asaf Toker, the CEO of Matricelf, an Israeli biotechnology company that regenerates the future of medicine, developing tissues and organs from the patient's own biomaterial. Asaf Toker, welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. Thank you so much for joining me today. How are you?
Very good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, because we are going to talk about some things that are very uplifting and truly are making a positive impact on people, whether it's kids, whether it's people with different diseases and different disabilities, and ways in which technology is shaping healthcare and the way that we treat patients in general. And you yourself, you have a fascinating personal background and motivation with everything that you're doing, and whether it's your work as a pediatrician, whether it's work with hospitals, business development with VCs and or startups in the biotech space. It's just fascinating all around. And so in these conversations, I would love to both hear a little bit about your personal mindset and your career trajectory, because it's not trivial. And then a little bit about Matricelf and how you're using technology to really reshape healthcare. And so, Asaf, thank you very much for being here.
Sure, looking forward.
Tell me about yourself as a doctor. What does being a doctor for you entail? Because it's something that you've kept, no matter what you've done else professionally, you always kept being a doctor.
Sure. So for me as a pediatrician, it's always amazes me that you're not only treating the kid, which is usually a small kid who cannot tell you what he's feeling, and you need to basically guess and examine and try to figure out what's bothering him. You're also treating the parents, sometimes the grandparents, and the whole deal is very fascinating because you basically treat two in a price of one, because you treat both sides, and most of the time it's not we're not doing resuscitations every day, and we're not treating some critically ill kids, fortunately enough. But even when a kid comes with a running nose and the parents are very worrying, and by giving a small gesture or telling something nice, and you see that they are going out with a smile on their faces, you understand that you did a good job. The reward is quite fast with kids. You see them smile very fast, and they hug you, and it's something else. It's not like being a adult physician. And you can also be, you can make fool of yourself, which is, when you treat an adult and you do this, for example, nobody understands why they think you're crazy. But when I do this for a kid, he sees it as something ordinary.
It sounds like there's something very, very humane about treating kids that you're describing, beyond the work, beyond the impact. It's very humane.
Yeah, it's humane, and by the way, you can be a kid yourself when you treat. So it's a fun work. I really love it.
I love it, and you've kept this work even though you've done other incredible things, whether it's working as an executive within hospitals as vice president, whether it's being in VCs, startup manager, you still kept that, and obviously it takes away focus. It's an incredible thing. You're helping kids, but it takes away focus. Yet you're still making sure that you're dedicating yourself to continue doing that in parallel with other things and not losing that work. Why? So why is that? Beyond
I
the
think
positive impact that it makes, why still do it?
I think that it makes me a better physician, and it also makes me a better manager.
Mm-hmm.
Because some people goes to do running as a hobby. Some people do judo or playing the piano. My hobby is being a physician, and it's good for your well-being to do something that you really love doing, because it's good for you in your personal life. It's good for you as a physician, and it's good for me as a manager. And as a side product, apart from what I said, all my employees, they have a pediatrician. So they can consult me whenever they have a question on their kids, and it's an advantage that not existing in many companies.
I love it. That's a great point. And so, transitioning from the impact that you're having on an individual and very humane level on your one-on-one interactions with the patients, you're working on Matricelf, which is really leveraging technology and very interesting technology to reshape in some way different treatments of people. And so tell me a little bit about Matricelf and how you've sort of paved your way to this company.
So Matricelf is a tissue engineering company, and opposed to other companies that usually use synthetic materials as their matrix, or allogeneic cells, meaning cells from a different donor for their cellular part of the tissue. Matricelf is building tissues in which both the cells and the matrix are coming from the patient themselves. So in our implants, there is basically no immune response, which is a very, very important problem in organ implants, and we believe that we are solving it. We are building.
Can you tell me a little bit more about this problem about immune response? Because and with very little understanding from my end, but essentially what you're talking about is the ability for our immune system to accept tissues that are not created originally by us, right?
Sure. When you expose the human body to a foreign object, the response of the human immune system is basically to attack this foreign object. And therefore, people that are undergoing any transplant of any organ usually take immunosuppressant. And what Matricelf is doing different is that we are developing complete autologous implants, in which the whole implant is originated from the patient's own biomass. So when you use your own biomass, there is no immune response to these implants, and therefore you don't need to take immunosuppressants, and the probability of those implants to be accepted by the body are much more higher.
Mm-hmm. And so obviously this is ideal, but it hasn't been done until now for various reasons. What are some contributing reasons to the complexity of what you're building here?
So most companies used synthetic materials for their scaffolds, and we managed to build a scaffold on which the cells actually build the tissue that is originated from the patient themselves. And taking this with the cellular part that we are also building from the patient's own cells, we basically managed to build an implant that is fully originated from the patient himself. And for the first time, we are offering a complete 3D functioning autologous tissue. And it is a platform we can basically create any tissue that we would like to create. And the first indication that we are taking to the market is spinal cord injury, which unfortunately has a huge market. There are thousands of patients with spinal cord injury, usually due to a traumatic accident. And we are basically building neural implants that will replace the damaged tissue in the spine and hopefully will help those patients to regain both motor, sensor, and autonomic functions. Something that, again, unfortunately, no other company managed to solve. So it's a huge market, very expensive for healthcare systems, and unfortunately, with no solutions.
So if we're right now taking a step back and we're saying, where are we at right now with our ability as humans to treat patients, let's say, with spinal cord injuries? Right. So there's a variety of different things that can be done. Most of them, my understanding is that they're very limited in the way that they actually treat. How close are we from a technological standpoint in your eyes to reaching something that can actually be meaningfully treated with our technology? So whether it's with Matricelf or something else, where are we in this landscape of technology and humans and, let's say, spinal cord injuries or any other form of such disease? So where are we, do you think?
So for many years, many companies tried to solve this problem, and unfortunately, were not successful. But as time progresses, we believe that we get more and more knowledge on how the nervous system works on one hand, and how to try and solve the problems that were previously related to those trials. For example, one of the problems is that in the area of the injury, there is basically a scar tissue that prevents from the neural signaling to pass through the wire, through the spinal cord. And there are companies that are trying to bridge this electronically. And there are other companies that are trying cellular and tissue therapies. And we are one of the companies that are trying tissue implants, basically after taking out the scarring tissue, building a new neural tissue that will basically substitute the damaged tissue. So I personally believe that we are on our way to change the lives of thousands and millions of patients all over the world. And again, for a quadriplegic patient to be able to take out his iPhone and text somebody, or to be able to eat by himself, it's a game changer. Not saying other functions like urinating by themselves or even walking. This will be a true game changer in spinal cord injury.
Obviously, I mean, at the end, you're touching on some such fundamental human need of being autonomous, being independent, and being able to live and to function. Such a fundamental thing that we sometimes maybe forget, that we're taking it for granted. But if we're looking now on a scale level, so you're mentioning that one thing that gets you excited about Matricelf is the fact that this really does have the potential to make an impact on many, many lives. And so how do we transition from a research or an idea to a full-on product that works with hospitals, with clinics? And this space because you've been an executive at a hospital, you are a pediatrician. What is the gap that you now have to overcome as an entrepreneur from the research to the production?
So first of all, we have a proof of concept in animals, which is a good start. And then last year we did a pre-IND meeting with the FDA to basically present our R&D program and get their feedback. So we aligned our R&D program according to this pre-IND meeting, and we have a roadmap. We are following our roadmap, doing all the necessary trials and animal trials towards the first human clinical trial that are currently planned for the beginning of 2025. And with a great technology, and more importantly, or at least as equal, an amazing team of scientists that are coming here every morning with a lot of motivation that is coming from patients that are coming to our offices or sending us emails looking forward for our success. We truly believe that we are going to change the world.
I love it. From a leadership perspective, mentioning you're 11 people strong now with Matricelf.
Yeah.
What is sort of the makeup of this group? What kind of family did you create here that is working on this problem with you?
So first of all, 8 out of the 11 are women. So we believe in girl power. We have amazing team of both R&D personnel, lab employees, financials, operational. So we created a small team that is, it's like our second family. Most of the awake hours we are here together, and I truly believe that once you create an elite team that works together, and more important, have fun doing it, you have a major part of the road to success.
Right, and obviously with the challenges that I've been hearing about throughout the podcast, this small cohort at the end, it has to grow, and you have to start figuring out, okay, how is this thing expanding? What are the serious culture that we want to have? What are the things that we are willing to compromise a little bit or to change naturally? But it is fascinating. Now, just to wrap up my understanding of you a little bit. So, pediatrician, VC, executive at hospital, and startup entrepreneur. Is there a common thread in your eyes to the way that you're choosing to spend your career? It's not traditional to go through so many of these different adventures. Is there a common thread that resonates to your own personality?
I always tell to my kids that in your last day here, you should look in the mirror and say to yourself that you were, first of all, a good person, and second of all, that you had fun. And I tried to do it. I tried very hard to be a good person, and I tried to have fun living the life, working my career, and I try to choose adventures that are combining those two.
I love it. Asaf, really, thank you so much. This was so enjoyable and
Thank
fascinating,
you.
and best of luck with Matricelf. And I love the theme of being a good person and having fun, and that obviously resonates to all the different positions you've also held. And you can look at every position. You're a good person, and you're having fun. And obviously, I can see how you are bringing that energy with you to everything that you do. So it's fascinating, and I'm sure that it's very enjoyable by a lot of the people that are working with you in your organization. So thank you very much, and stay safe and
Thank
stay
you.
healthy.
Thank you very much. You too.